So now we're going to cover another line of the French that black plays, because as an e4 player, we're going to play something weaselly against whatever they're going to try here. As I showed you, it's difficult to do against the winner, but it's possible. And all these same principles will apply. So without further ado, let's go. The opponent here is rated 2106, I see. So just barely over 2100 in this case. So this is not going to be a super high quality game. Probably. I get this variation a lot. This is old fashioned, real standard stuff. And we push and play that. That is called like the Alekhine shattered attack. And very few people take my bishop and then take the pawn afterwards, after which I come out with my knight to h3 and an open h-file, and fun things happen after that. This person just castles. Oh, it would be helpful for me to have the engine on, wouldn't it? So now it says after castling, the right move is queen to g4, which is a very tempting looking move. I take it one step further. I go all the way. And the computer doesn't like it. Okay. So I had a chance at being a quarter pawn up. Instead, I'm a tenth of a pawn down. And the computer says undermine him, which he doesn't do. Instead, he gives himself a strange kind of luft on f8, while at the same time planning to move knight to f8. So obviously this person's scared to death by my rather large overture and attacking as an h7 pawn, which, as you'll recall, was the third point of what I love to do to the French. So perhaps this person's played me before. And of course the computer's recommending bishop to d3, which is really obvious. And now it says pretty much move g6, move g6. Instead they move a knight to f8. Now this is a blitz game against a weak opponent. So what do you suppose I'm going to do here? Well, there's a variety of ways to attack. This knight to f3 is kind of a standard move, starting to lift rooks, various things like that. I don't want my attack to peter out. It looks as if he's got a lot of possibilities if he takes my bishop at this point. It opens the h-file of defending that h7 pawn by pushing g6. It's going to be hard to open up with that knight there in f8. So I think computer wants me to move to f3. I move to h3. h3 is kind of flexible. It doesn't cover the d pawn at all. That's the drawback. Now it's a a6. a6 looks like a horrible move. So he's scared of bishop takes, followed by knight to b5. How do you like that? The computer wants me to just retreat to f4 and replace with my knight, probably. I capture, he captures, and now you're going to see me do something the likes of which I don't recommend normal people try. If I remember this game correctly, I was going to throw all caution to the wind and do some sort of new kind of like Tal style crushing try. I have a small advantage here, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere very fast. He can defend. If I move knight to g5, he can just play h6 and sit on it. So I'm going to play bishop takes, which loses a piece. And it loses a piece because it's covered, and already I'm 2 down, 2¼ down. There you go. So by all rights, I should lose this game. But what we're depending on is unsound chess. Now, this is one of the worst examples of playing something unsound that you're probably going to see me play. And this is something that a computer has already found refutations to. So I played knight to g5. Computer wanted me to castle long. And of course, now he just has to play his knight back to f8, where it's perfectly safe. Now I'm castling queenside, which has the same effect. But notice I'm creeping a little closer to equality. And the way these things work is that it doesn't take much. It just takes the slightest little inaccuracy by black in his defensive posture and his planning to fall way far down here. And bishop to d7, for instance, is the beginning of letting me creep back in. The computer wanted me to play rook to h3, so that's inaccurate by I moved rook to d3 because I like the idea of having rooks on g3 and f3. That's the way I attack. So now the computer says he's got to get his rook out of there, but he pushes pawn. Now notice what happened. White is a piece down. He's pushed the pawn, and now it says white has an advantage. And of course the advantage is real simple. We take en passant, which is absolutely required here. He can't take back with anything clever like a knight. He has to play queen takes f6. He plays queen takes f6, I move rook to f3. And then we've got something going. We've got an attack. We've got a whole variety of things that are going to unfold. And, I have sacks on f8. I have all kinds of things that are possible. So he unwittingly plays pawn takes and loses. It does it look good? No, it looks terrible. Shame on you, 2106. And so that is an obvious winning shot right there. This is an example of being under pressure in a 5-minute game, having somebody sack something that shouldn't have worked, and not being able to defend it. So I'll show you the end of the game here. That's required. And now, of course, there's mates on 3 that I don't play. Instead, I see other mates, so. End of game. Thank you for watching.